This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to CWK Live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zare, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Well, let's bring in our friends who are here with us. First, we have Minta. This is the way. It's CWK Day. Hello, Minta. Great to see you. Jason says, quite simply, hello there. Very good. Jason, great to see you as always. And Ross says, happy rainy and Indy CWK Day. Ross, great to see you, buddy. It is really rainy and nasty here too. It's very kind of a fall rainy day, not like the fun fall day where you walk around picking leaves, whatever, eating apples and drinking cider and thinking of fun Halloween festivities. That's what is up. Darren says, my son says you look like Obi-Wan. Well, thank you. I will take that. Josh says, let's ride out. Let's do that. Jamie, happy Tuesday to you, my friend. It's great to see all of you here on CWK Live. Ben, good evening to you. And here is Terry. Hey, hello. Well, this is great. Look at all of our people here. I love it. And that makes sense because we're going to talk about a really great episode of Andor. Top 5 moments from Andor's 7th episode, The Announcement. And what an announcement that it was. Also, we've got some new Bring Home the Galaxy reveals, which were just announced a few hours ago. And, of course, your comments and questions. Ben says, let's go right now. Get the game on now. That's right. It's exciting. Matthew, hello to you. Happy CWK Tuesday night to you as well. Love it. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. All right, so this is the time. Boy, look at how my hair is getting long, I think. Yeah, I think my hair is getting long. All right, so we're going to look at new reveals of some new merchandise that was announced today from Disney and Lucasfilm. Some really cool things that I'm sure a lot of you will be interested in pre-ordering, perhaps. So this is the Bring Home the Galaxy campaign that they are doing through December 13th. It is new merchandise, a lot of it focused on, well, new, naturally, Star Wars items, but also looking at things for the holiday season and Christmas time. So first up, we have the lightsaber forge. These are the plastic lightsabers that light up and make noises. They're much, much more affordable than the more expensive lightsabers, but you can mix and match and combine them. They're almost, think of like Legos, but they're lightsabers. That's probably not a great description, but you can mix and match and combine them. They're great fun. They are great fun. Mason has quite a few of them, but here's ones from the Inquisitors, and I think this one's interesting because the package shows the Inquisitor from the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. Apparently there's a hockey game going on. Jason says, Ben, I tried to put the Wings game on here on ESPN Plus, but it isn't working for me. Well, I can understand the frustration with that. You know, if it was a game I was interested in, I would be similarly frustrated. So, Jason, hopefully the force is with you and that will work out at some point. I know I was really happy watching Chicago Bears beat the New England Patriots. I felt like I was in some sort of a dream, seeing the Bears score 33 points or whatever they scored, but that was pretty wild. All right, let's go back to some Star Wars. So the Black Series Elite lightsabers, Josh says, sure, Mason has many of them. Well, he does. So I gave him a lot of mine, but he also has some too. I have the more fancy ones. For example, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi and from The Mandalorian in the Book of Boba Fett, the famous green lightsaber. This is the Black Series Elite lightsabers that Hasbro's put out. They are amazing. They come with their own stand. They're really light. In fact, I think they're lighter than the ones from Galaxy's Edge, and they're really exquisite. Matthew says, that was a fantastic Bears game. Yes, it was. Boy, was it great. Speaking of great, and I just mentioned Legacy lightsabers, finally tomorrow on Shop Disney, I believe at 7 o'clock p.m., or 7 o'clock a.m., 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, Qui-Gon Jinn's Legacy lightsaber is going to be out for pre-order. Now, I have been eyeing Qui-Gon's lightsaber for a very long time, hoping and praying and wishing that eventually they would be a legacy lightsaber of Qui-Gon Jinn. So now I'm going to get that chance to pre-order it, and I cannot wait. Also, this is Count Dooku's lightsaber. Now, to you, it looks, if those who are really interested in lightsaber hilts, like I am, no, this one looks a little bit different from the one Count Dooku uses in Attack of the Clones. So, I'm pretty sure this is the one from Tales of the Jedi, the new series that is coming out tomorrow. Actually, tonight. All 6 episodes are going to drop. I will certainly talk about that. And at the end of the episode, because I've seen all 6 episodes, but so I'll save that for the end. Yeah, this is Count Dooku's from that. And it's really a really great looking one, a legacy lightsaber, and you can get these at Galaxy's Edge. Matthew says, Clone Wars, it is set during the Clone Wars Tales of Jedi, and this one is one that actually Dooku uses before the Clone Wars actually happen. It's when he is still a Jedi Knight. Josh says, less of a claw on it. Yeah, that's true. It is significantly shorter. Now, these are ladies' Advent Star Wars Christmas socks. So, Minta, Mary, all of you out there watching and listening who are interested in these, I put these here for you to see, but they were just announced today. The packaging alone, I think, is worth the price of admission, so that's pretty fun. Now, Alexa has another version of the Grogu stand for your Alexa device. This is Alexa's Grogu 4.0. I'm not sure what it is compared to the others, but it is the newest version. It was just announced today. So if you have Alexa, I know we do, and we have a lot of fun with it, this is a great little stand to celebrate your love of Star Wars. Finally, like they did similarly in previous campaigns, the UPS in, let's see, Chicago, Atlanta, Los Angeles, and I believe maybe Miami, at least a part of Florida, certain UPS trucks are going to have this overlay on them, and that is great. Like, if you ever get a picture of yourself by one of these trucks, please don't get into an accident or put yourself in any kind of danger within 1,000 yards, 1,000 miles of danger. Get a picture of yourself by these trucks. If it's safe, that would be really fun. I would love to see one of these out in the wild, so to speak. Matthew says, I need to get this for my boys, Alexa. Of course, that would be awesome. And Minta needs those socks in her life along with the Grogu stand. There you go. Always happy to provide shopping examples for all of you. Pretty cool. So yeah, those are the main ones that are being offered today. Darren says, cool UPS truck. Yeah, isn't that great? I would love to, as I just said, I would love to see one of those things out there driving around. All right, let's talk top 5 moments from Andor's The Announcement, episode 7. This is a spectacular episode we reviewed last week on Coffee with Kenobi. I was there with Kelly Knox, whose book, new Star Wars book, is out today. And then also joining me was Ryan Donahoe from the Forcecast. So that was great, too. Ben says, every Alexa in the house needs one of these. Curious, how many does everyone have? I've got 2. One of ours is a video one. We have a lot of fun with that. We did a Halloween overlay for it. You just say enable Halloween theme. And usually it will just do like a complete Halloween overlay for your Alexa. It's pretty fun. I highly recommend that. We're going to talk about the announcement here today. Matthew has 6 Alexas. Wow. I wonder how many times I've said the word, you know what, and had it start going wild. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about your top 5s from this great episode. It seems like we say this for every week because it's just a great series. So when I was watching this the first time, I noticed that Cassian doesn't show up for, I think, 18 minutes. I feel like that's right. So Cassian Andor is the main character of this series, and he doesn't show up for 18 minutes in the 7th episode, and you don't even notice it. And I think the reason for that is the strength of this series and how powerful and how well-rounded they are making all of these characters. So if the main character isn't even showing up and you notice that, that's really powerful stuff. I think that's just really good storytelling, that delayed gratification, and it really plays off beautifully here. All right, Darren has 3 Alexas. Ben has 6 also. Oh, Matthew has a 7th one in his car. All right, number 5 for Josh. The Bureau of Standards has echoes of Brazil and Metropolis. Now that is a good catch, Josh. I didn't think about that. That's a really good catch. Darren says he has Google Play with the nice to compare Alexa answers with Google, which of course you wouldn't use on Star Wars Trivia when we're playing it on here, which we're not tonight. But yeah, good choice. Terry says, so much info here in this episode, might be my favorite one yet. Yeah, you really can't go wrong with it. Minta's number 5 is Cassian's delaying the episode also. Well, how about that? Great minds think alike. I mean, I will just follow your lead on that, Minta, so that is super cool. Jason's number 5, throwbacks to the Republic, clone troopers, Yularen, and a Jedi Temple guard mask. Oh, I missed that, Jason. That must be in Luthen's shop. Is that where you saw that? I didn't catch that Jedi Temple guard mask. I will have to look for that again. But yes, Admiral Yularen, that was a really cool surprise. I didn't realize it until I turned on the captions, but then when I did, I was like, wow, this is epic. Terry's number 5. The hints as to why the Republic was effective in their ability to avoid the Empire. Never doing the same thing twice. Yeah, the detective work is so great, isn't it? Number 5 for Ross is Miami Vice fly-in shot with Nicholas Bertel's Niamos Morlana club mix playing as we learn where Cassian has gone into, quote, hiding. Yeah, that time jump is pretty neat. And the Miami Vice thing, I saw you put that on Twitter. I thought that was funny. Ben's number 5. Clay meets up with Vel. The lead up to where she was going was suspenseful, but I found her way of talking about the rebellion to be even more shocking and kind of scary. You know what? It was. She was very intimidating. Like, very intense. Jamie's number 5, Niamos. I love this place and think Disney Cruise Line needs to convert Castaway Key into this galactic paradise. You spelled Castaway Key correctly. I mispronounced it, so good on you, Jamie. I corrected myself. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun to convert Castaway Key into this new place? Although there's a very heavy Imperial presence, so maybe it wouldn't be the best idea. We'll see. And Jason says, confirm the mask is in Luthen's shop. All right. Noted. Let's go into number 4. Number 4 for me is the time jump. I love the fact that there's no immediate exposition or dramatic presentation. All of a sudden, just the series is different. Cassian is very comfortable, very relaxed. He's got a new companion. He's in a new place, but we have no explanation of what is going on or how much time has passed. And I like that. I like show, don't tell storytelling, as Kelly mentioned last week, and how I mention all of the time when I teach my students how to write. I just think that's smart because it assumes that the audience is also smart, and then we're going to put the pieces together even though it's really ambiguous. I just really like that a lot. All right, got lots of stuff here. Let's see. And then Lori's mentions, hello, Lori. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Says Vel told to kill Cassian. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting little plot dynamic, I would say. Josh's number 4 is a dinner party recruitment for Rebel support and Mon's likely second husband. Interesting. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Minta's number 4, Mon Mothma discussing with her old comrade was a surprise since he hasn't been around since Phantom Menace. His name escapes me sadly, but he seems on board. Yeah, he does. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Terry's number 4 is Clone Troopers and Andor's flashback to Ferrix. Yeah, wasn't that great? And that's where you kind of start to scratch your head about how much time has gone past. Ben's number 4. Daedra gets the upper hand in the war room. Watch your back. That line defines the Empire, doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's a good catch. Josh is for the dinner party recruitment for Rebel support and oh wait, we already said that one. Yeah, I don't know how that one happened there. Ross is number 4. Perrin's on his way over. He knows none of this. He's not to be trusted. Smile. Mon Mothma is wonderful. She is very much a scene stealer, isn't she? Jason, systems either change or die from Daedra. I love this quote, very applicable for life in the real world, and very much shows what she's doing and where kind of her headspace is. Lori's next one is the dinner party. She says she loved the dialogue. The dialogue is just exquisite. The writing on this show continues to be another level of incredible. Let's go into number 3. Number 3, I put the Luthen and Mon tension. When she shows up at the shop, we know they're very much in cahoots. We assume they're both the ones in charge of this whole thing. Maybe they're not. But the fact that they both have similar goals but very different ideas about how to approach it, and one's more cautious and one is more like, we've waited long enough. I find the human dynamic and the element here terrific. And any good show, any good series, any good story, you have to have good characters. All the great effects and the wow connectivity and mythology, that's all fine. That's great. But if you don't have good characters that you care about, it doesn't matter. And this matters because they are really, really well fleshed out. So I love that. Let's see what you all have for your number 3. Number 3 for, obviously, Jamie's 4, which we missed, is The Rise of Daedra. I love the internal competition and her persistence in pursuing intuition that the activity of the forming rebellion is not a coincidence. Is it okay that I'm rooting for a character within the Empire? It is okay, because I am too, and it just, it's not like you want anything bad to happen, but you root for her because you want her to be successful, because she's very engaging as a character. I think that's the genius of the show. So absolutely, Jamie. 3 for Minta, Daedra getting the recognition she deserves, along with the warning to watch her back. Definitely. Ties in nicely what we were just talking about. Josh is 3. ISB reaction within the public order resentencing directive, the PORD. Any criminal act with even indirect effect on the Empire will be henceforth be branded a Class 1 offense. The Empire is doing the heavy lifting for recruiting rebels. Yeah, they are definitely pushing people. The more they, as Leia says, the more you tighten your whip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. We're seeing it in action here, aren't we? Terry's 3. Cinematography during the ISB scenes reminds me of THX 1138 with the camera angles, sounds, and shadows. And Terry was talking about that on Facebook that week in our CWK Alliance Facebook group. So that was kind of fun to see. Ross is 3. You're better off not knowing, or perhaps you'd find my politics a bit strong for your taste, end quote. Mon Mothma is still wonderful. Well said. Well said, Ross. 3 for Jason. Daedra's determination to root out the rebels. I continue to like her even though she's an Imperial. The writing and Denise Go have really done a great job with this character. And it's so funny because when you interview her, when you talk to her, she's super charismatic and funny and witty and just really sharp. And her character is so reserved and cool and calculated and cerebral. And not that the actor isn't cerebral. She very much is. But it's just kind of cool to see how good of an actor she is. Let's see. Ben's 3. Marva stands to the rebellion and expresses her love for Cassian. You can't stay and I can't go. That was a great line. Yeah, we haven't brought up Marva yet, but Marva is very integral to, I think, the emotional parts of this story. Let's see. Lori's also liked the tension between the two. Very good. Jamie's 3. KX security droid, even though he doesn't play the role we have come to know in K2SO and Rogue One, it was really cool to see that again. Yeah, I mean, eventually we're just assuming K2 is going to show up, and this is certainly a harbinger of why those droids are dangerous, I would say. Josh says, good catch. Well, excellent. That is really cool. Appreciate that. All right, let's go to number 2. Number 2 is recruitment. This is the dinner party that we've been talking about. The dinner party where Ross, I just looked at Ross's name. Ross, you were at the party. Congratulations. What a secret you kept for so long. So, Mon Mothma is going to recruit her lifelong friend. And the way that it evolves is quite lovely. Really, really quite lovely. I got to look up that guy's name. In fact, I'm going to go to StarWars.com right now because I know that it is on there. Unless anybody knows it off the top of their heads, I'll see what... I know Dan Brooks posted something today, so let's see what it actually is. The name of this character is... All right, here we go. Tay? It might be Tay. Let me see. I got to pull up right here. Here we go. It is, Tay Kolma. Taykolma. Tay Kolma. So when Tay is subtly and cleverly, I want to say coerced, I want to say recruited. I don't know if it's any of those things. The way that Mon Mothma just basically breaks it down. She's trying to recruit him. So I guess that recruitment is a fair thing to say. But the way it evolves and the organic nature and the mental chess that goes on in this episode between Tay and Mon Mothma is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. All right, everybody else knows it too, so that's great. Let's see. Minta's number 2 is Cassian trying to tie up loose ends. He knows going back to Andor was a risk, but he wanted to make things right with his loved ones no matter how painful it was, which is absolutely right on. Josh's 2 is the first courtroom live action scene in Star Wars. Oh, that's true. That's right. I knew that you brought that up online. That was fun. Ross said the dinner party food was great. Glad to hear it, Ross. Glad to hear it. Josh and Lori helped me to remember the name of this character is Tay. So thank you. So Matthew says, Ross, why didn't you bring Dana as your +1? That's a good question. I was actually busy I was on Batu for something. Yeah, that's what it was. Terry's number 2, Colonel Wolf Yularen from the Clone Wars appearance. Fantastic. Jason's 2 is Mon Mothma's hidden strength and convictions that are really finally revealed in her conversation with Tay Kolma. I love the fire and Genevieve O'Reilly's eyes. She is like Emmy worthy in this series, I think. Ben's 2, the dinner party. Mon Mothma just saying smile all the time. She's learned to play this double life so well at this point. It's got to mess with you internally, but maybe it doesn't because you're fighting for something greater than yourself. Number 2 for Ross is Yularen the ISB hive starting to buzz, and Daedra is more than up to the task. I don't like her, but I respect her. That's probably a good way to describe it. Jamie's number 2, Mon Mothma and Luthen, quote, turning back will be impossible, end quote. And that's true because they made a massive statement. Lori's 2 is Marva and the Cassian, both scenes, but it was so sad. Who gives Cassius information to Luthen? That's a good question. And I think, or hope, we'll find out tomorrow about that. Okay, well, it is time to give our number 1. From the episode of Andor, the announcement, your number 1. My number 1 is the ISB meeting. I didn't think I'd put something from the Empire as my number 1. I almost made the recruitment my number 1, but seeing the workings of the Empire, again, seeing this debate and seeing how they come together to try to figure things out while you don't root for them, it's sort of weird. You don't really root against them. You do, but you don't, because you just like seeing them figure it out. And even though Daedra works for the Empire, clearly thinks she's on the side of right, you can't help but be completely transfixed by the whole process. And I think it's just a great meeting, a great sequence, another example of why this show is so brilliant. Josh's number 1 is the mother and son exchange between Marva and Cassian. Terry's number 1 is further revelation of what the rebellion had to do against the Empire. The gray area of innocence and purity was rather broad. That's well said. Minta's number 1 is Niamos, even though it's not a real place. It gave me a Bahamas vibe. I wouldn't mind living there. And let's not forget the K2 units on the beach. I did find it a little funny that he got pinned by one, foreshadowing his future companion in Rogue One. Yeah, I know, that was scary too. Ross's number 1 is Luthen picks up the ancient cudgel. He pitched it in the previous shop episode with Mon while telling her we need the fear. We need them to overreact. When referring to Palpatine and the Empire, this isn't a pretty business. Brutal, beautiful symbolism. Well said, as always, Ross. And that we hear the name Emperor Palpatine, it just kind of gives you shivers because you know what that means. It means trouble. Darren's number 1 is Mon Mothma's party/recruiting scene. Oh, yes, I love that sequence. Love it. Ben's number 1. Luthen admits to the heist. While staying in character, it felt very, dare I say, sinister. Mon Mothma was horrified between Luthen and Clay's rhetoric to Vel. I'm getting some real Saw vibes. I keep expecting Saw to show up, and you wonder who he's going to side with. I hope he and Luthen, I feel like they see eye to eye, but they won't. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that plays out. Jason's number 1 is the apparent divergence in points of view between Luthen and Mon Mothma. They're both willing. Let me get that back cover. They're both working towards the same goal, but using different means to achieve it. Luthen's goal, if you're not willing to risk your conscience and surrender and be done with it, and Mon's response to him says it all. Lori's number 1 is Daedra in the ISB meeting. Excellent. And Ben says, I noticed that too, Jason. I love that duality. It's smart. It's really smart. It's, again, I can't wait to see how this plays out, and the fact that they keep giving us more texture on these characters is just absolutely fabulous. You really can't beat it. You really just can't. It's just funny how much I've turned on. I mean, I don't know that I've turned on the show. I mean, I initially said many times I lament that it's not for kids. I think it's just a different kind of a pace for kids. But man, if you are of a certain age or maturity or perspective, this show is just amazing. It's almost like, I keep referring to it on Coffee with Kenobi as like a Tolstoy novel, or it just reminds me of The West Wing or something like that. It's just really well done. Great dynamics. Josh says he doesn't think Luthen and Saw will see eye to eye. I don't either. It's one thing to rob an Imperial stronghold, another to target civilians. Exactly. And maybe we're going to kind of see the evolution of Saw even more going down that dark path, which he does. You know, we see it in Bad Batch. We certainly see it in Rogue One. We see some of it in Clone Wars too. So I'm sure it'll be pretty direct, pretty jarring. That's kind of who Saw is. Next week, I didn't post the new one. Whoops. Well, next week is your top 5 moments from Andor, episode 8, of course. Of course it's going to be episode 8. I'm surprised I didn't put that up there. Here we go. Let's try again. Boom. Episode 8. Easy for me to say. Yes, I'm in Rebels too. Absolutely, Josh. And Matt says, sadly, my whole family has given up on Andor. I'm still holding on, but I just don't have anyone to watch it with. No, I know. And at first I was like, oh man, but now I'm just okay with it because I get to talk about it with all of you here on Coffee with Kenobi. So again, next week, top 5 moments from Andor, episode 8. Won't that be fun? I'm looking forward to talking about that with each of you. And of course, every week you've got a couple of opportunities to talk about it in the CWK Cafe. That is our Coffee with Kenobi Facebook group. You can find it at coffeewithkenobi.com/community. Or just go to Facebook and type in CWK Cafe or Coffee with Kenobi and you'll be able to find it. Right now we have 700 members in the CWK Cafe, which is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's great because it's family friendly. It's spoiler free. We post collectibles, talk some Star Wars. We have a good time. Ben says, didn't Mon Mothma say people will suffer and Luthen said that's the point? That's where it felt like he crossed the line. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's really ambiguous because it's not that he wants people to suffer, of course, but it's more like this is how you're going to get people's attention. This is how you're going to move on to the next phase of everything, basically, and how to make people realize how much things have escalated, for sure. Okay, well, yeah, thanks, Matthew. 700 people in the cafe is pretty great. All right, now, gosh, we're going through things so quickly, but that's fine because I'm looking forward to talking about Tales of the Jedi. So let's go ahead and jump into what is not brewing, but let's jump into Ask Dan. See, I need to just follow my prompts that I have on this little monitor here. I'll do that. Aaron says he kind of wishes that after all the episodes are out, they have an option to watch the whole thing back to back, no interruptions like a movie. Problem is, it could use a few cuts, so it's not quite so long. That's an interesting idea. Very interesting idea. The cuts probably won't do that, I don't think, just because we're starting to notice the story beats seemingly no matter how inconsequential, do pay off. Minta, have you seen the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas trailer? Thoughts? I have seen it, and the main thing that popped in my brain before I watched it was what are they going to do about Gamora, but they addressed that, and it looks really fun, really funny. I wish the whole Kevin Bacon thing wasn't revealed so soon. Yeah, that was great. What's there do you have in that clear case behind you? Over here in the case behind me is Anakin Skywalker's famous blade that is eventually passed down to Luke Skywalker and then to Rey. It's actually an old one from Master Replica, so it's pretty cool. Wanted to thank you again for the Danzy Media session helping me get to my next milestone. Well, hey, Matthew, thank you so much, buddy. You did a great job. I'm really proud of you, and thank you for bringing up Danzy Media. I feel like I don't talk about it very much lately. I've been behind on social media, working on some other things behind the scenes. But yes, if you are interested in starting a podcast or a blog or want to expand your existing brand, you can go to danzymedia.com and I can certainly help you and consult with you to try to help you find and not only discover your dreams and your goals, but try to give you steps on how to meet them. And Matthew is one of my proud graduates. I'm really proud of you, buddy. Ben says, I need to see that Ant-Man though. Wow, Ant-Man looks great. Looks so good. I got to see an extended sequence from the movie at D23. It's a D23 Expo. And a lot of the great parts from that are in this trailer. I can't wait. I love the Ant-Man stuff. I love Paul Rudd. And after seeing the Creed trailer, I like Jonathan, Winters even more. So that's going to be a great movie. Epic. Jason says, I think someone last week proposed the idea of a group watch. Thoughts on doing that for the Andor season finale. I love that idea. It would have to be like later in the day. Because during the day I have school. And a lot of you have your jobs going on. But maybe we could all watch and then watch again together. I think that would be fun. Let's definitely bring that up again, Jason. Mina says she had laughing tears when she saw it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Episode 200 comes out tomorrow. Episode 200. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Hard to believe. Ben says, Phillies or Astros? There is a right answer too. So this is a tricky one because even though I'm a very well-documented, massive Chicago Cubs fan, my son Mason loves the San Diego Padres. He absolutely loves them. And he was really bummed. He handled it like a champ. That's the beauty and the challenge of being a sports fan. So we were really heartbroken that the Phillies won, but they were great. Bryce Harper completely rose to the challenge, to the moment. Really awe-inspiring. Houston hasn't lost. The Phillies are super hot, although there's this massive delay between games, which I don't like. So I think it'd be silly not to say that Houston's going to win. And I would be okay with that because I like Dusty Baker. But the Phillies are white hot, so it's going to be great fun. It's going to be great fun. Terry says the Phillies, and Ben says Terry wins. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be sad either way, for sure. I love Schwarber. I like Harper a lot. There's some good players on that team. Josh says excellent use of Elton John. It was clever. Dusty is a class act. I always liked him because he managed the Cubs in 2003 when we were 5 outs away from the World Series, but eventually took a while, but we got there. So what I want to say about Tales of the Jedi is that I'm not going to spoil it naturally, but if you like the Clone Wars, if you like the more intense Star Wars stuff, it's fabulous. You're going to love it, and we'll figure out a way to talk about it in the CWK on CWK Live for sure. But it is absolutely just fantastic. You are going to love it. I'll try to put designated spots in the CWK Cafe to talk about all the episodes, but I think it'd be fun to do top 5s of them or just do something at some point because it's a great. It's 6 episodes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say how long they are. They're not super long, but they're not super short. They're just right. There are 3 about Ahsoka, 3 about Count Dooku, and there are meaningful moments in their lives as far as their evolution in the Force. And it's great. You're going to love it. There's certain ones that I just can't wait to talk about with you. So we'll leave it at that as a nice little tease. But there's definitely a lot more to come when we're talking about Tales of the Jedi. It's just terrific. Links were posted on Twitter a couple weeks ago. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. He says, looking forward to the Tales of the Jedi tomorrow. You're going to love it. Follow the NDA. I always follow the NDA. That's why I even posted today on Facebook in the cafe. Look, I'm only going to talk about stuff if it's officially announced by Disney and Lucasfilm. If it's from the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, those are great. Those are very respected media outlets. But until Disney and Lucasfilm are ready to announce stuff, I won't comment on it on Coffee with Kenobi just because that is best practice for what I've been doing, and I respect the process. But if you're excited about other things, I get it. Believe me, I get it. Hopefully that makes sense. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me tonight on CWK Live. A short show, but a wonderful show because I got to talk with all of you about Andor, the announcement. Next week, we're going to talk about Part 8, or not Part 8, but Chapter 8. What do they do to say? They're new episodes, and we love them. And we love talking about them together on CWK Live. Of course, when you are watching the show, get your top 5 ready for next week. Please bring a friend, bring a family member, so we can continue to grow our Coffee with Kenobi family. Minta, may the Force be with you. Thank you so much. This week in the CWK, for the CWK Alliance on CWK Pro, we talked about the finale of She-Hulk, which was great fun. And then we talked about like 4 episodes. And this week, a fun announcement. Corey, my friend Corey, he watched the original 1978 Halloween for the first time, and we talked about it and we broke it down. I love it. Corey just saw it, and Tom has never seen it. So we go into great detail about the lore of the John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween on CWK Prover. If you are a member of the CWK Alliance, you have access to that and over 200 other podcasts where we talk about pop culture, movies, storytelling, Disney Plus shows, comic books, insights into our lives, behind the scenes, lots of fun. So if you want to find out more about that, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. Let me get the logo up here for you. Here it is. Yep, coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. Matthew, have a great night and a magical week as well. Lori, thank you so much. Get ready for a lot of Star Wars later tonight. Oh, yes, it's true, Josh. Jason, have a great week. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Terry's looking forward to that Prover. Awesome. I can't wait to see what you think. Ross says, be well, friends. Happy Andoring and Jedi Tales. Woohoo! And Matthew points out Doctor Who's coming to Disney Plus. Yeah, a lot of great announcements today. Big stuff coming on as well with what is going on in DC and movies for the future, with James Gunn being one of the people in charge creatively from this point forward. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you in a couple of days as we break down the new episode of Andor. And then, of course, next week, join us for the top 5. Until then, this is the live podcast you're looking for. See you next time, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along.